Good afternoon, everyone. We are so thankful that you are here with us today, and I'm happy to welcome you to our 2026-2027 Out of School Time Grant Orientation Information webinar. I would like to take a minute to introduce the MyLeap OST Grants team. And so from left to right, you have Julie Catharino, Juan Ruiz, myself, Tiffany Young, Willie Buford, and then as our education consultants, and then Deandra Ramsey as our OST grants and camp licensing manager. Not pictured from our team is Deputy Director of Office of Education Partnerships, Roland Lillard, and our Division Director, Richard Lauer. We will have time at the end of this presentation for question and answer, so hold tight or feel free to start putting those questions into the chat. Today, we will be going over the OST Grant Request for Proposal, or RFP. We're going to cover Section 1, the grant information, Section 2, the grant range and funding options, and Section 3, the application process. We will save time for questions and answers at the end, but please submit any questions you have into the Q&A bar. You may have to click on the More button at the bottom of your screen to gain access. We will put items in the chat, such as the funding chart and other things as we get to that section, but all materials can also be found on our website. When we talk about the state of Michigan in the OST grant world and with MyLeap, we focus on regions across the state. And so each of our grantees are highlighted in different regions. And so these are the regions that will be identified. On July 21st, 2026, the Michigan Public Act 25 of 2026, Section 32N, was signed into law with a $135 million budget to provide in-person before school, after school, before and after school, or during the summer programming to children in grades K through 12. The new legislation defines the eligible applicants, the type of programming, and the priorities that Michigan Department of Lifelong Education Advancement and Potential, otherwise known as MyLeap, must use in a competitive grant process to award the funds across the state. Eligible applicants for this funding must be one of the following: a community-based organization that are exempt from federal tax under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code 26 U.S.C. 501. This includes religious-based institutions and organizations, as well as federally recognized tribal nations, organizations, and community programs. Or an institution of higher education. This includes community colleges and universities, or a public library, or a local city or municipality, usually a Parks and Recreations or city township sponsored OST program, or an intermediate school district or regional educational service agency, otherwise known as an ISD or a RESA. Local education agencies are not eligible as direct entities. This includes public school districts, public school academies, and private schools. However, MyLeap encourages collaborations of these local education agencies where the school district or public school academy partners with an eligible entity. The eligible entity must serve as the fiscal agent. Let us take a moment to discuss the difference between an applicant or a vendor. So some applicants provide all services for the students they serve, while others partner with a vendor. The OST applicant is the entity or organization that recruits, registers, and enrolls students in the OST program. They implement and manage services to students by offering daily OST programming and having direct contact with the students' parents and/or guardians. An OST vendor is a company or organization that provides specialized programs, activities, or services. Think of them as the partners who are supporting the OST program. The Out of School Times grant's purpose is to provide educational programming in core subject areas, including but not limited to mathematics, reading literacy, and science. and increase the number of children and youth in Michigan who have access to quality, affordable before and after school and summer learning programs, accelerate and support learning recovery, and help reduce costs to families for participation. When looking at specifics of the grant, programs may be funded to start as early as November 9th, 2026. Summer programs must start after the academic year has ended and operate between the months of June through August. The 2026-27 32N OST grant funding must be completed by September 30th, 2027. These funds are for grants that will provide in-person, before school, after school, and/or summer programming and serve a minimum of 15 children and youth in kindergarten through 12th grade daily per site. Summer programming is for students who were enrolled in grades K through 12 during the 26-27 academic school year. Programming must be provided in a manner in which the children are physically present in a licensed or exempt building or location designated by the eligible applicant. More information on this can be found at the MyLeap OST website or by accessing Public Act 25. Programs must support expanded learning opportunities of enrichment, including but not limited to 21st century skills, agriculture, career and college exploration, community engagement, conflict resolution, financial literacy, health and wellness, leadership, literacy, mentoring, physical fitness, recreation, social engagement, STEM or STEAM, visual and performing arts, and youth voice. School year programs must provide a minimum of 60 days of program for 1.5 hours daily before school, after school, or both before and after school for at least 15 students. Summer programs must provide at minimum 24 days of program for at least 4 hours per day during the months of June, July, and August for at least 15 students. To apply, eligible applicants must have one of the following in place: either be an actively licensed childcare organization. This can be a childcare license that must include school age or before after school programming, or a camp license, or have an active application for childcare camp license in process that is actively moving towards completion, and it must be completed prior to receiving funding for that location. All staff working with students before the start of their program must complete a comprehensive background checks through the Central Registry Clearance and the Internet Criminal History Access Tool, first aid and CPR training, and completion of health and safety training courses A through C. Links to these licensing documents are in the chat and are available on our website. Or if an entity is exempt from childcare licensing, they must adhere to Michigan's out of school time most standards of quality and must have the following in place for all staff prior to working with youth: a background checks with Central Registry Clearance and Internet Criminal History checks, background clearance, otherwise known as an ICHAT, first aid and CPR training, and then completion of health and safety training courses A through C. A link for the exemptions document will be placed in the chat and is accessible on our website. If you are unsure about your licensing status, review the Child Care Center exemptions document found on the MyLeap OST website under the licensing resources link and the child care licensing rules. If you need additional information, contact Child Care Licensing or Camp Licensing for further questions. Next, let's look at the grant range and funding options. We're going to cover the different types of funding options. School year funding begins November 9th, 2026, and goes through June 2027. Then the school year program can pick back up after summer programs end, starting in August and ending by September 30th. This funding is for students in grades K through 12 and can cover before school, after school, or both before and after school programming with a minimum of 60 days of programming, 2 days per week, 1.5 hours per day, and at least 15 students served daily. Summer programming must have a minimum of 24 days of programming, 4 hours per day, and at least 15 students served daily. Summer funding is for programming that runs from June to August 2027. Summer program is for kindergarten to 12th grade students as they were enrolled in the 2026-27 school year. The amount of funding you can receive is based on several key factors. These include the number of program days you're proposing, the number of students you plan to serve each day, the type of programming you intend to run, whether that's school year, summer, or both, and the number of eligible program sites included in your application. For school year programs, funding is available for options of 60, 80, or 100 days. For summer programs, you can choose 24, 32, or 50 days. The funded daily number of students served ranges from 15 to 70 during the school year and from 15 to 85 during the summer. Please keep in mind that you must apply for one of the designated day options. Variations outside of 60, 80, or 100 days for the school year, or 24, 32, or 50 days for summer, are not accepted. For example, if your program will operate for 70 days during the school year, you would only qualify for funding at the 60-day level. The minimum subaward amount is $14,400 and the maximum subaward amount is $273,500. This is per site funding. We will put the funding chart link in the chat, but please note that there is a range listed on the funding chart for the number of students. You must indicate a single number of students, not a range on the application. Here is a look at the funding chart for 60 school year days for a program running a minimum of 2 days per week. You can see that the amount differs based on the amount of programming hours students are attending per day. These hours can take place before school, after school, or as a combination of both before and after school. On the application, you will enter the actual number of students, not the range of students. Here is a look at the funding chart for 80 school year days for a programming running a minimum of 3 days per week. You can see that the amount differs based on the amount of programming hours students are attending per day. And again, these hours can take place before school, after school, or as a combination of both before and after school. On the application, you will enter the actual number of students and not the range. Again, this is linked in the chat and also available on our website. And then finally, this is the funding chart for 100 school year days for a programming running a minimum of 4 days per week. You can see that the amount differs based on the amount of programming hours students are attending per day. And these hours can take place before school, after school, or as a combination of both before and after school. And then this is a look at the funding chart for summer programming. Note that all summer program ranges must operate a minimum of 4 hours per day. Pay close attention to the number of proposed students attending daily and the type of programming you are applying for. Whatever you include on your application is what you will be expected to provide should you be awarded. This year, funding is also based on a multi-tiered structure within the competitive grant process to account for statewide or regional grant applications. as well as mid-sized grants serving 6 to 14 program sites and smaller grants serving 1 to 5 program sites. No more than 40% of the total allocation may be allocated to statewide or regional grant applications. What this means is that programs applicants will be sorted by program sizes and the amount of sites you applied for. Let's walk through a few examples to show how the funding amounts are calculated. First, imagine a public library proposing to serve 15 high school students for an hour and a half each day after school for at least 60 days during the school year. That program should apply for $15,750. Next, consider a municipality offering summer programming. If they plan to serve 20 youth per day for 24 days, then they should apply for $14,400. And finally, here's a more complex example. An ISD proposing to serve 45 elementary students for 2.5 hours before and after school each day for at least 80 days during the school year, and 35 students for 24 days in the summer. They should be applying for $88,840. These examples illustrate how day counts, hours, and the number of students all factor into the total funding request. A few more funding examples. In our first scenario, it's a tribal nation proposing to serve 50 elementary students for an hour and a half each day, before and after school, for at least 100 days during the school year. They also plan to serve 50 elementary students during the summer for 32 days. This program should apply for $103,140. And then the last example is a faith-based organization planning to serve 60 middle school students for 3.5 hours after school each day for at least 100 days during the school year, and 75 students for 50 days during the summer. This program should apply for $273,500. These examples highlight how different program types, day counts, and student numbers all factor into the total funding request. What is a program site? A program site is defined by the actual physical location where students will be enrolled to receive in-person, before school, after school, and/or summer programming. This includes physical locations where structured activities and programs are offered to children and youth outside of regular school hours. Let's review the requirements for where grant program sites can be located. Grant-funded program sites must operate within approved facilities. These may include schools, childcare facilities, faith-based buildings, community centers, libraries, parks and recreation facilities, college campuses, campgrounds, or other designated locations that support student educational activities. Each site listed on your application must either be a child care licensed building or qualify for an exemption under the 1973 Public Act 116, also known as MCL 722.111 through 722.128. If a facility does not fall into any of the categories listed, it must be reviewed and approved by the MyLeap team before it can be included in your application. A few important reminders about the additional site requirements. If multiple eligible applicants are applying to operate programs at the same site, each one must demonstrate that they are expanding access to additional students. In other words, every applicant must enroll and serve completely different groups of students. This ensures non-duplication of enrolled students, meaning no student can be counted more than once across overlapping programs at the same location. Next, let's look at the intent to apply process. You must complete an intent to apply using the link provided to receive access to the grant application. You must have a My Login for Business account to submit your intent to apply. The link has been shared in the chat and is also available on our website and looks like this. Once you receive access to the intent to apply, complete all the required fields. Add the legal name of the organization, the main contact person name, phone number, and email address, the My Login for Business username that will receive access to the application, and the authorized official's name. Make sure to double check spelling of the main contact's email because this is where access to the application will be sent. You'll be asked to choose your eligibility status, how many sites you're including on the application, and the counties that will be served. Once the form is complete, you will click on the green submit button at the bottom. A ready to submit box will pop up asking if you are ready to submit. Once you click yes, submit, a submitting intent to apply box will pop up. Stay on the page so the form will send. This is a sample of a successful submission of the intent to apply. You can choose to copy the return link to hit the return link to make any edits, open the response, or print a copy of your submission. Now let's talk about the application process. In order to receive access to the grant application, you must submit an intent to apply. Only one submission per organization is needed, and you must have a My Login for Business account to submit your intent to apply. The application will go live on Monday, August 24th, 2026. Once the application goes live, a link to the application will be emailed to the contact provided on the intent to apply. A hard copy of the RFP is available on the website for review while you are waiting to gain access to the grant in GEMS. The application must be completed and submitted in GEMS by September 23rd, 2026 at 12 p.m. noon. This is a hard deadline and no late application submissions will be accepted. The request for proposal will be available is available on the website currently. Read through this entire document. Refer to it as needed while working on the application. Priority point scores are detailed in this RFP document. MyLeap uses data from the site information section to calculate those priority points. In an effort to better align with supporting low-income families and allow for more equity, we will be using the median income by county this year. All applicants can search the poverty and well-being map to locate the median income for each county they are proposing to serve. Returning subrecipients will have the opportunity to earn up to 5 priority points directly linked to their track record for implementing requirements of the grant, including performance reporting and monitoring responsibilities in accordance with deadlines. Each of the grant implementation responsibilities are weighted as 1 point for the areas of fiscal reporting and performance, program attendance reporting and performance, youth surveys and parent surveys, staff and program site manager surveys, and attendance at statewide and regional check-in meetings. On August 24th, 2026, individuals who have completed an intent to apply will receive an email with a direct link to the application in the GEMS electronic monitoring system. Anyone submitting the intent to apply after August 24th may experience a delay in receiving access to the application in GEMS for up to 2 business days. Upon opening the email, applicants can either click on the direct link titled Access Grant Application or copy and paste the link into a web browser. The direct link will open a page that looks like this. Type your full name and your reason for accessing the application. and then click Submit. You will then click the Search button. Then click on the OST Grant Application 2026. Once you have access to the application, begin by completing Section A, Applicant Information. Complete all fields on these forms. Use the legal name of the organization applying for this grant. A federal ID number, EIN, is required for all applicants. This is a unique 9-digit number assigned by the IRS to identify business entities. The authorized official is a person who has the legal authority to act on behalf of the organization in specific matters. This person typically holds a leadership or managerial position within the organization and is responsible for signing documents, making decisions, and carrying out actions that bind the organization legally and financially. Please note that the authorized official is not necessarily the project director. Select the applicant type from the drop-down list. This page requests the number of sites this organization will include on this application. This may be the same or different from the number submitted in the intent to apply. Enter the accurate number here. The main contact person refers to the designated individual who serves as the primary point of communication for the grant implementation. All applicants must upload an EIN document. Nonprofit, community-based, or religious organizations must also upload a current IRS Form 990 and a 501c3 determination letter or religious filing documentation. To access the next section of the application, you will click at Section B at the top ribbon. All applicants, no matter the number of program sites, must download the program site spreadsheet and complete all program site information. This is being shared in the chat and also is available on our website. The completed spreadsheet must then be uploaded into GEMS within the application at the time of submission to be counted. An upload of required licensing documentation must also be added to be considered for priority points for childcare or camp licensing. If the license is in process and not yet approved, upload a copy of the licensing application and receipt of payment. The priority scores for those with more than one site will be an average score of all sites. For program sites that are not owned, operated by the applicant organization, a program site verification form for each site must be downloaded, signed by all parties, and uploaded acknowledging partnerships and agreement for program site facility usage. That form is also available on our website and in the chat. This is the sample of the site information spreadsheet. It can be located within the GEMS application and on our website. Applicants must only use the 2026-27 site information spreadsheet. No spreadsheets from previous years will be accepted. Any submission other than the approved 2026-27 B1 site information spreadsheet will result in the application being disqualified. Applicants must use the full legal name of the site facility for each program site. No abbreviations or nicknames. For example, the school at Marygrove and not simply Marygrove, or Durfee Innovation Society and not Durfee. If you rent space at a building, list the legal name of the building first and your organization in parentheses. The program site information allows MyLeap to calculate priority points for the application. The application priority points are detailed in the request for proposal, or RFP. If sections are not filled in or are incorrectly entered, the application priority score for that item will be a 0. An applicant serving children in any grades K to 8 must be either a licensed childcare organization or an entity that has an active application to be licensed childcare organization, or an exempt entity that has implemented the Michigan Out of School Time Standards of Quality. If a program changes sites or combines locations during the summer, this should be indicated on the spreadsheet to maximize funding allowances and application priority scores. Childcare licensing, camp licensing, and those programs serving high school students in grades 9 through 12 receive equal priority points. Programs serving students in grades K through 8 that are exempt from childcare licensing or have an active application for childcare or camp licensing will receive priority points, but is not equal to licensing. The official building name and code of the public school building or public school academy that is closest to the site can be found by clicking the district names and codes tab located at the bottom of the spreadsheet. Sections C through G are all narrative sections. All narrative sections require written answers that should address the rubric. Organize your writing so that the reviewers can understand the community and program plans as it aligns to the rubric and appropriate sections. Do not assume reviewers will know specifics that are not entered into the application. As you complete your application, be sure to carefully review the requirements listed at the top of each section, as well as the criteria outlined in every row of the rubrics. These rubrics are your guide, and some sections are scored on an all or nothing basis, while others award points on a scale, so it's important to understand exactly what each rubric is asking for. When you write your responses, make them clear and thorough. This helps reviewers fully understand your organization, the community you serve, and your program plans. Strong, detailed explanations aligned with the rubric will support a more accurate and complete review of your application. The next section is Section H, the pre-award self-assessment and proposed budget. The pre-award self-assessment is a new questionnaire that is used to identify potential risk areas and determine what management supports may be needed to ensure successful grant administration. It is a supportive tool, and your responses do not impact funding decisions. However, completing the questionnaire does provide 1 point to your application. This pre-award assessment will need to be uploaded into your application in GEMS prior to submission. You can find the pre-award assessment on our website or in the chat. The proposed budget for this section is completed within GEMS. It is an itemized plan of identified expenditures related to the proposed programming, which includes support services, your business and administrative services up to 10%, salaries and benefits, materials and supplies, enrichment activities, contracted and purchased services, transportation, and food. These expenditures must align with allowable use of funds. See the 2026-27 OST use of grant funds document that is uploaded in the chat or located on our website. Uh, the proposed budget section of the grant will look like this within the GEMS application. And the final section, besides the glossary, is the assurances and certifications. Thoroughly review these grant assurances and certifications. Obtain approval from the authorized official of the organization to submit the grant. The application automatically saves changes as they're made, but you may always click on the Save and Close button at the bottom of any section and should save your changes if you are planning to be away from your screen for any length of time. After you click on the Save and Close button, a pop-up will appear. The first screen will announce that the application is being saved. Do not click on Close. The second screen will appear once the application has been saved. The window may automatically close or you can manually close it. In order to access the application again, use the direct link provided in the access email. Once the application window closes on September 23rd at noon, the review process officially begins. Each application receives a total score made up of two parts: the average of the reviewer scores and the applicant's priority points. Funding allocations are then made based on rank order and the approved requested amount. The review process works like this. All application narratives are evaluated and scored by a team of trained peer reviewers. Each application is assigned 3 to 4 reviewers. The reviewers submit their scores to the MyLeap OST team, where the scores are averaged. This averaged reviewer score is then combined with the applicant's priority points to create a total score. Next, applications are grouped by grant size based on the number of sites an applicant proposes to serve. Within each grant size tier, applications are sorted from highest total score to lowest. Next, funding is then allocated according to the approved requested amounts, following the rank order until all available funds have been awarded. MyLeap must also ensure compliance with legislative requirements. At least 60% of total funds must be awarded to community-based organizations. No more than 40% may be awarded to eligible statewide or regional applicants. If 2 applications tie, priority point scores are used as a tiebreaker. All applicants will be notified of the award decisions. Here are some application tips for success. We have provided a checklist for you to use. It will be available on our website. Read the application instructions and rubrics carefully. Complete all text boxes. Information entered must be accurate and correct. Full legal names of the organization, districts, and schools, and titles must be used. Make sure to use the funding chart and double check to make sure your budget amount matches the amount you are requesting on your site spreadsheet. Read through each section carefully and save before your final submission. When all sections are completed and proofread, click Submit. Once submitted, no further changes can be made, and 12 o'clock noon on September 23rd is a hard stop. This means a submission at 12:01 p.m. will not be accepted. Additional information and a copy of this presentation will be able to be found on our website. Only applications submitted into GEMS will be accepted, reviewed, and scored. Questions regarding this grant announcement may be directed via email to myleapost@michigan.gov. The MyLeap OST Grants team will be providing informational roadshows and technical assistance sessions that will cover gaining access to the Grant Electronic Monitoring System, GEMS, MyLogin for Business Access, Intent to Apply supports, and Request for Proposal inquiries. You can register for these sessions on our website, and the link is shared in the chat. If attending a roadshow, bring your laptop along for TA supports. As a reminder, the application will go live on August 24th, 2026. Once the application goes live, a link to apply will be emailed to the main contact listed on the intent to apply. A hard copy of the RFP is available on the website prior to the grant opening in GEMS and can be found on our website. The application must be completed and submitted in GEMS by September 23rd, 2026 at 12 p.m. noon. No late application submissions will be accepted. This concludes our Out of School Time grant webinar. A recording will be available soon. Thank you for your interest in this grant opportunity.